We often rely on a simple rule. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, then it is a duck. But what if it isn't? What if the thing we're seeing isn't a thing at all? Not a duck, not a face, not a memory. What if it's just data, arranged to behave like something we recognize? A projection, a hallucination with feathers. This isn't really about ducks. It's about form, familiarity, and the ease with which both can now be reproduced. It's about the growing tension between what we believe we're seeing and what we're actually being shown. Generative AI media, or synthetic media, create words, images, voices, gestures that imitate the signs of life, sometimes perfectly, sometimes clumsily, but increasingly, persuasively. The result is not just imitation, but something new.
Synthetic media refers to content created, or at least significantly manipulated, by algorithms. That includes text, images, sound, voice, animation, film, often framed as cutting edge, as something completely new. Synthetic media is really a continuation of something much older, what Lev Manovich once called new media, the fusion of computing and culture. Synthetic media doesn't just invent new forms, it wears disguises. It can look like television, it can sound like radio or music, it can read like a newspaper, it can move like film. But it's not any of those things, not exactly. So if it looks and sounds like something familiar but isn't, what is it? An imitation? A simulation? Is it what Baudrillard might call the hyper-real? Or, as David Chalmers has recently suggested, is it a reality in its own right? Or, to borrow from Graham Harman, maybe it's not pretending to be a duck at all. Maybe it's simply a thing, a being, its own weird form of duckness. Or maybe it's all of these at once.
Let's look at a real-world example. We created a fictional brand, Mikigami Maritime. It's a made-up company, a ghost brand, built using synthetic media tools. We're going to show you two versions of the same advert. First is an animatic, which is a rough cut made from stills and scratch audio. The second is a more finished live-action advert, fully animated, voiced, and composed. While you watch, I want you to ask yourself, what are you looking at? What are you hearing? Do they both feel different? Which one feels more real? Let's start with the animatic.
The morning I left home, Mam squeezed my hand and told me to be brave. I thought bravery meant keeping busy, hammering bolts, hauling lines, but it's the quiet that tests you, the long nights, the missing faces. Then one evening, under a battered street lamp in Marseille, Leia reached for my hand. A laugh became a promise, a reason to come back. Storms hit, engines failed, yet the friendships, the jokes, the card games kept me steady when the sea tried to shake me loose. Years passed. I married that girl with the bright eyes, held my daughter in trembling arms, and built a family strong enough to weather any tide.
Mikigami Maritime. Your goods and stories delivered.
The morning I left home, Mam squeezed my hand and told me to be brave. I thought bravery meant keeping busy, hammering bolts, hauling lines, but it's the quiet that tests you, the long nights, the missing faces. Then one evening, under a battered street lamp in Marseille, Leia reached for my hand. A laugh became a promise, a reason to come back. Storms hit, engines failed, yet the friendships, the jokes, the card games kept me steady when the sea tried to shake me loose. Years passed. I married that girl with the bright eyes, held my daughter in trembling arms, and built a family strong enough to weather any tide.
Mikigami Maritime. Your goods and stories delivered.
Instead of asking, what if, we ask, what does it feel like? What does it feel like to work offshore, to leave home behind, to return change? This is what I call emotional speculative realism. Not documenting what happened, but capturing how it might feel if it did. The advert relies on cinematic stills like memory, fragments, hands on ropes, salt-stained harbors, a quiet reunion. These aren't just pictures. They're brushstrokes of feeling. They gesture towards something emotionally true, even if the facts are fictional.
So if it walks like a maritime advert and quacks like one, but what you're left with is a feeling, not a product, then maybe it's not advertising at all. Maybe it's a designed memory from a life that never was, yet one you somehow still recognize as your own. So yes, maybe it's a duck, or maybe it isn't.
Yes, these adverts use synthetic tools, AI voice, AI image generation, motion transfer puppetry, but not to fake something, and not to replace anyone. We're asking a more vulnerable question. Can synthetic media carry real emotion? What happens when a fictional maritime brand touches a nerve more than a real one ever could? This is a new realism, not factual, but felt.